Welcome back to the most unique NFL power rankings available anywhere, the C-Score Power Rankings. Why so unique? Because we use C-Score, this channel's metric for determining the quality of every single NFL team. If you're so interested, a further explanation of C-Score is available in the description of this video. If you're very keen on ranking teams based on their records, then might I suggest to you this, the NFL standings. You can find them in lots of different places. These are the power rankings heading into week 7. We are about 1/3 of the way into the 2024 season, so there's still lots of ball to be played. That said, there are a lot of movers and shakers in the rankings this week as we get a good snapshot of where we are right now. And to no one's surprise, there's bound to be some surprises found in this list. C-Score is an evaluative tool, not necessarily a predictive one, but based on the action in the first 6 weeks and nothing more, here are the NFL teams ranked from 32nd to 1st. Thank you for joining us this week, and enjoy. Those movers and shakers are not going to be found here in the bottom 8 though, where every team either stayed in its place or switched spots by 1. What we do see is a big chasm between the Raiders at number 27 and the Titans at number 26, a jump of more than 12 points in C-Score. These bottom 6 teams truly are the worst of the worst. At the very bottom remain the Miami Dolphins, who are just edged out by the Carolina Panthers. Now we're starting to see some movement. 2 teams from the AFC South each jump up 4 spots, Indianapolis to 19 and the Texans to 18. They do now have a positive C-score of 2.704. The Dallas Cowboys have dropped 7 spots to number 23 after the beatdown they received at home by the Detroit Lions. This is not the largest drop in ranking, but it is the largest drop in raw C-scores. They lose more than 15.5 points. We've now entered the top 10 where we do see the biggest drop in ranking. The New Orleans Saints were somewhat controversially at number 3 last week. Well, they've taken their drop now 10 spots to number 13. Interestingly enough, a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, who won, still dropped from number 12 to number 15. Beating a not-so-great team in the Cleveland Browns doesn't really impress C-Score. The Los Angeles Chargers are now on the edge of the top 10, while the Denver Broncos have fallen out from the top 10. Here are the teams that are closest to the top 5 without getting in. The 49ers and the Ravens get themselves into the top 10 this week. The Falcons hold steady at number 8. The Commanders lost to a tough Ravens team 2 spots below them in the rankings. They're still at number 7, while the Pittsburgh Steelers remain in the number 6 spot with a C-score that just barely clears 15 points. Top 5 time, and at number 5 are the Green Bay Packers, moving up 4 spots from number 9 with a C-score of 18.885. They didn't beat a particularly great team in the Arizona Cardinals this week, but they certainly handled their business. They are a very dangerous offensive team. If the defense can even slightly keep pace, they're going to be a strong contender for the rest of the season. We move up only 1 spot in the rankings, but the C-score jump is by more than 7 points. In 4th place are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with that C-score of 25.916. They've played the most impressive slate of opponents to this point in the season, and against that schedule, they're tied with the Commanders for the most points scored. This past week, they laid 51 points on the Saints, giving New Orleans their first multiple possession loss of the season. The Bucs are certainly giving up more points than they'd like to, but if they can get that problem fixed, just like the Packers before them, they are a legitimate contender moving forward. Even though they didn't play a game last week, the Kansas City Chiefs slipped down from number 2 to number 3. This is still obviously an undefeated team, and this is the AFC's highest ranked team, bringing in a C-score of 25.922. The intrigue for the Chiefs is not what they did last week, but for what's coming up this week. They're getting a rematch, or should we say the 49ers are getting a rematch with them from last season's Super Bowl. A win there against the team that's currently in our top 10 solidifies Kansas City's ranking that much more. This week's biggest jump in the rankings comes from the Detroit Lions, screaming all the way up from number 10 to number 2 with their C-score of 27.925. They had the highest profile win of the week, not only because of the lopsided score, but because they achieved it over the Dallas Cowboys, who, for better or worse, remain the league's most visible team. Detroit is the total package right now, but they did lose Aiden Hutchinson for the season, an early contender for NFL Defensive Player of the Year, and arguably Detroit's best player. However, in Dan Campbell, they do trust. And holding steady at number 1, coming off their bye week, are the 5-0 Minnesota Vikings, who actually see their C-score creep up to 36.072. 3 of their 5 opponents this season won this past week, and the Jets were very much in a 50-50 game. Minnesota still maintains the league's best point differential, and while many others might be waiting for them to take that first loss, here at C-Score, we just know what they've done to this point, and what they've done is earn the number 1 spot in our rankings once again. Here now are all 32 teams together at once, and the big story here is the NFC North, holding down 3 of the top 5 spots with the Vikings, Lions, and Packers. A team like the Bears still sits at number 16. They haven't exactly played the meat of their schedule yet. The irony with them, though, is once they start playing their opponents from the NFC North, even if they're losing those games, they might not move too much in the rankings. Tell me what you think about all of this. Is there any team from this bottom 8 you think has any chance of creeping up anywhere, maybe even to the top half of the rankings? Can the Falcons and the Broncos hold on to their spots? Will the Saints continue to fall? Will the Vikings maintain number 1? These thoughts, or whatever thoughts you may have, please go ahead and give them to us in the comments section below. Take a moment, please, to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, ding that bell for future notifications. Thank you again for joining us today, and until next time, I hope you have an awesome day.